Hey guys, this is Bharadwaj with Fonearena.com, and right now I have the HTC One Mini in my hands. So this phone, as you know, is HTC One's mini version, but comes with a few compromises. But one of them that's not a compromise is the camera. So it has a 4MP ultra pixel camera, pretty much like the HTC One, and also supposedly takes very similar photos in terms of performance. But does it? Let's find out soon. So it is accompanied by the single LED flash and the secondary microphone for stereo recording in video. It can record 1080p video at 30 fps and is powered by a Snapdragon 400 processor on the insides. So that's the camera specifications. It's pretty much the same as the HTC One except for one little caveat, that is optical image stabilization. There is not enough space, I guess, for HTC to implement optical image stabilization, or probably that was a cut down from the HTC One because of the mini tag. But otherwise this is pretty much the same, so let's see how it does. Now on the front you can see that it has a very similar Sense UI, the Sense 5 with blink feed for the HTC One Mini. This phone comes with the same camera app, which is very nice if you ask us. So let's go through the camera UI again. This is the same as the one on the Butterfly S2 that we recently went hands-on with. So this is the camera interface here. Zoom slider on the right, gallery thumbnail. You have the shutter button and the video shutter button on the same screen. So even if you're recording video, you can take a photo while recording a video. You have live filters here for the color, different effects here from Instagram, inspired from Instagram, and also silly effects like negative, black and white, and whatnot. So these are just some of the effects that the inbuilt camera UI has. Nothing special there. So over at the top left, you have the toggle for the flash, auto on and off, and you also have the Zoe mode toggle. So this Zoe mode is actually really special on the HTC One. So that's the same on the HTC One Mini and also the Butterfly S. This records a 3-second clip video along with burst images in full resolution. So you can actually manipulate the video and the photo in several different ways. It also creates a highlight reel from your gallery album, which is pretty nice. So that's the Zoe. Now we are back to the normal mode. So all the settings of the camera are in a simple setting screen here. So every setting that you can change with the camera is here. First up, we have the camera front and main. Front camera is a 2 megapixel camera, wide angle lens. It is pretty nice, and the camera takes really nice pictures as well as is really good for video calling. So in terms of scenes, you have several scenes including macro, portrait, landscape, and other things. So you also have a night mode, you also have HDR, sweep panorama, and anti-shake. These are pretty much exactly the same as the HTC One. Now you also have the video capture mode here. You have normal slow motion video, fast HD, that is 720p 60 fps, and video HDR in full HD resolution. Slow motion video is 768p with 768 by 500 something resolution, and it's pretty decent, to be honest. It'll record at 120 fps and play back at 30 fps. You also have other settings like self timer, crop is the aspect ratio, video quality here, which you can change from 720 mms and full HD, review duration, pretty self-explanatory, and other options. You also have another camera options sub-menu that says face detection, auto smile capture, and geotagging. So nothing much new here. You can activate the grid and also auto upload to a HTC service. So there you go, that's the camera user interface of the HTC One Mini, exactly like the HTC One, which is quite unsurprising. So regarding the camera performance, you would be surprised to note that the HTC One Mini is actually really good. Pretty much like the HTC One, it takes really nice photos in daylight as well as low light. So we have taken a number of photos in several conditions. So take a look at the samples here. Here are the daylight samples first. Take a look at them. So as you saw from the daylight samples, some of the photos came out really well. Even though it's just 4 megapixels in size, you can see the details that are captured are really nice thanks to the large photo site, 2 micron pixel size, and that's why the camera is a bit special. It goes against the megapixel race. You can see the details are captured nicely, but is a bit underexposed when compared to the images from various other 13 megapixel cameras. But that said, you can see how nicely it does exposure. The metering is pretty nice. The exposure compensation is done pretty well, even though the sensor is very small. So this was taken in the HDR mode, and this is a pretty nice output for the camera. Macro shot, which came pretty nicely. So take a look at some of the other macro shots that we took. So as you saw from the samples there, the macro shots have come out pretty nicely, pretty detailed, and lots of nice colors. You can also see that all the details are intact in the macro shot. But that's quite unsurprising. Always we see that the low light is actually the challenge for many cameras, but that shouldn't be a problem for the HTC One Mini because of the 2 micron pixel size. So let's see some of the low light samples and see how it is. So as you saw from the low light samples, even with very little light, it captures nice details. Sure, there might be some noise, but as you can see, this is almost dark, really dark, does not look as bright as it is in the pictures. So that's one thing the HTC One did well, and even the One Mini does well. So in the end, we think the stills performance is nearly matching up to the HTC One, but it only lacks optical image stabilization. So you need to keep your hands really steady for low light pictures, and also the exposure will be pretty less when compared to the HTC One. Now moving on to video, this phone can record 1080p video at 30 fps with full HD resolution. So that's one thing that it does well with stereo recording. So we have already started the recording, and you can see that you can take a picture while you are taking a video. That was one of the first things that the image sense chip could do with the HTC One X, and that's not changed with the HTC One Mini. But again, looking at the performance, we think that the video is pretty good except for the lack of optical image stabilization. So anyway, take a look at the video sample and decide for yourself. One more thing we noted in the video mode is that the video was little bit choppy. In terms of frame rate, it was not really 30 fps all the time. It dropped frames a lot, and it was totally jerky, and the lack of optical image stabilization didn't help one bit. So that was one thing we noticed with the video mode on the HTC One Mini. So that's about it for the HTC One Mini camera review. You saw the video samples, you saw the daylight, low light, and macro samples. So we think you can pretty much make a good judgment based on the samples and what we said in terms of the user interface. This is a pretty nice camera, but in the end, when it comes to comparison, you can see that the phone costs 34,000 rupees. For 34,000 rupees, you can probably get even a Galaxy S4 at this rate, which has a 13 megapixel camera, and it is a lot better than the HTC One itself. So in that sense, the HTC One Mini might not have a good camera at that price range, but if it comes down to around 25,000 rupees or something, this is one heck of a phone. So with that said, we think the HTC One Mini camera is hampered by the price and nothing else. So that's about it for the camera review. We hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, do hit the like button and do subscribe to our channel for more videos like these. Thanks for watching and let us know what you think in the comment section below.